But this is a bag that I have been asked to make. I think it was from sometime in 2013. Someone contacted me about making this bag. Some people call it a bucket bag. Some people call it um, a bowling bag style. Some people even call it a doctor's bag style. But whatever the case, this is what we're going to make. It's we have it in two sizes, but just to kind of give you an idea what this bag looked like from the side, from the back, which this can be the front if you want it to be. But I put two pockets on this bag, and on this one here I also put for the strap, I put strap keepers on it. I put a zipper and pocket on this side. On the inside of the bag I have two pockets. Now this is a smaller version of the same bag, and basically what I did was I took the pattern and I made the pattern smaller. I normally will show you how to make the pattern. This one I have not been able to figure that out, how to show you how to make this pattern. This is a pattern that someone had a bag, and they came in here and they took the bag apart and made a pattern, and they gave us a copy of it. But we have made a smaller version of that that pattern. Now once the video is have been published, we would also have the pattern on our website that you can purchase it for both patterns, well, patterns for both sizes. This is the bottom of the bag. Now the pockets on this one here, we put an insert pocket. We did not put a pocket on the back side. And I think what we will do, we may put both pockets, so you'll know how to do the insert pocket and you would do the overlay pocket. On this one we did it in two different colors to give it some contrast. So whatever you decide to do, I look at it as, you know, your look is your look. But what we will do is that now I will go ahead and kind of show you how to put this bag together. It's very, very simple. Very simple. So we'll go ahead and put the bag together. Okay, what we're going to do now is look at the leather that we're going to select. One thing you want to make sure is that the leather that you select, you don't want it to be too thick and with too much body. And the reason why is because when you have to do your bottom and you have to turn this, to keep it from being too thick in here, especially around the corners. When you have to turn this corner and you have to turn it over, well, this can be very bunched up, and so that's why you don't want your leather to be too thick, because that will cause that type of problem. If you look at this leather here, it's very resistant, and so if you turn it, if you have this leather and you turn it and you have to turn a corner, it can get bunched up, and that's not what you want. You want to try to find you some leather that's much thinner, much softer, that does not have such resistance. Now this leather here is thick, and which this here would be kind of hard to work with, because you see how it kind of bunch up when you fold it like this, and that's what you would get when you turn in a corner. But I think what we'll do let me find another leather that we'll use for making the bag. I thought I was going to use this here, but it is quite thick. The bag would be pretty in this. Now I could skive this down, but I think I'll do something that you don't have to do any skiving to make it work. So I'll choose another leather. Okay, now we're going to lay out our leather, cut out the pattern. First thing I want to do is make sure that there's nothing on the leather that I do not want on my product. This one have a number branded on it, so we want to make sure we miss that. But so I think I'm going to use this part here to trace out and cut out my pattern. So I need to find that number to make sure, which is right here, to make sure I don't put a mark on the back here, so I don't end up cutting on that. I'm using this chalk, this tailor's chalk, to trace it out. But you can use whatever works for you. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip my pattern to make sure when I start putting them together, they will line up. You don't want to do your tracing from just one side of your pattern. It's like having two left shoes. So you always want to make sure you flip it, so in that way it will line up when you put them together and you start sewing. I'm going to trace out the bottom of the bag. Drop my chalk. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to cut these out. I'm going to use my scissors to just trim them out so I'm not trying to work with the whole piece of leather, this whole hide at the same time. It's just much easier for me to trim this out and then use the rotary cutter to finish it out. And now I will use the rotary cutter to finish it out. Use the scissors to trim around the corners. Some people will use a rotary cutter. I am not that good with it to go around curves. I've seen people do it. I'm just not there yet. On the front and back part, I'll use the rotary cutter on all of the straight lines. And if you notice, one thing I always do is that I always cut with my pattern on the inside of my ruler. And what I mean by that, I won't cut it to where my pattern is on the outside of the ruler, because if I make a mistake, I can cut into my pattern, and that could be costly. So I always cut on the outside. I need to go back and put in my marking here. I didn't do that. Okay, now what I can do is I can take the scissors and cut the rest of it out. I just use my tip of the scissors to cut this part of here out. That is one side, the bottom, and then we will cut the other side out. That's the front, the back, and the bottom. And the next thing we'll do, we'll trace out the lining and cut the lining out. This is how simple this is. Okay, now we're going to cut our lining out. I love colors, so I think I'm going to use this lining. I just think that such colors, it will really pop when you open up the bag. So we're going to cut out the lining the same way we did the bag itself. We're using the same pattern. We'll cut out the same 3 pieces. I'm going to trace this out. Let's see here. I'm going to use the chalk also to trace this out. Like I say, it's the same process as tracing out and cutting out the bag itself. And I'm going to flip the lining. Cut out the bottom. It's the exact same process. Did the same thing. I miss tracing out. Okay, now that we have a lining and the bag cut out, we can start to put it together. So really we have the three main pieces, which is the front and the back and the bottom. And then we'll look at the pockets and the straps, hardware, how we will attach the straps. But this is the bag. We will have a zipper. So you'll see how to put in the zipper and how to do an insert zipper pocket. So that would be our next step, is to start putting this together. Okay, now that we have the front of the bag, the back of the bag, and the bottom and the lining cut out, the next thing we're going to do, while we have it laying flat like this, we're going to take the pattern, which we have these holes pre-punched, which are these two holes for these two snaps. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the lining, we're going to take the bag itself, we're going to take the pattern, and we're going to lay the pattern on top. I got to make sure this lines up. We're going to lay the pattern on top of the bag itself, and I'm going to make these marks, and these are where I'm going to punch my holes, which will allow me to put these snaps. So I'll do both of these. It's just easier to do this before you put the bag together. So let me do this side over here. And make sure that this lines up. Okay, now there's two ways to do this. One is that I can just go ahead and punch the holes, or I can take it, flip it over like this, and make sure that everything lines up together. So when I punch one hole, I will punch both the holes at the same time. And that way it would assure me that everything will line up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to punch this hole. And this way, I know that everything lines up. Take this one, turn it over like this. Okay, now that we have the holes punched, now we can start putting the bag together. have this out of the way. Now I think what I'll do, I will show you how to insert a zipper. We can do this two ways. We could do an overlay pocket where we actually take a pocket and just attach it to the bag, or we can also do a zipper that is inserted. So I think what I want to do is show you how to insert a zipper. So in that way, this will show you how to put that pocket in. So what I want to do is that I want to make sure that I give myself enough room for my strap. I want to make sure that I leave myself at least 3 inches. At least 3 inches from the top. So I know that my pocket I don't want to go any higher than this for my pocket. So what I'll do, I'm going to drop down 1 inch from that. So I'll drop down 1 inch from where my strap will hang down. So what I'll do, I'll start at this line, but I want to make my pocket, my window, I'm just going to make it 1/4 inch wide. I'm just going to make that window 1/4 inch wide. So this will be my zipper window. So this is my zipper window. So what I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and square this window off. And to make sure this is squared up where it's centered up, I'm going to fold this. I will fold this, get my center. This is my center here. So I want to make sure that I square this off. So my ruler, let's say that is 9 inches. So at 4.5, is where I want to center this off. That's my center. You know what? Let's make it 10 inches. I'm going to make this 10 inches wide. Let me get a larger ruler. So we're going to make this 10 inch wide. So we'll put that at the 5 inch. So we're gonna make this. I really think it's too wide at 10 inches. But let's take a look and see. I think 10 inches is too wide. Let's make it we're going to make it 8-inch wide. So we'll line it up at the 4-inch mark. We'll make it eight-inch wide. So we're gonna make our pocket 8 inches wide. Okay, so our pocket is going to be 8-inch wide, and I think what I'll do, I'm going to use a rotary cutter. And I'm only going to cut up. These lines are my start and stop line. These is where I will start my cut and stop my cut. These lines here. And the reason why is because if I cut right up to the 8-inch line with the rotary cutter, I will cut past that because the rotary cutter is round. So I would only cut up to a stopping point and a starting point. And if you notice in what I'm doing, I'm cutting with the pocket on the outside of my ruler. I'm not cutting with the bag itself on the outside of my ruler, because if I make a mistake, I'll cut into my bag. If I make a mistake here, I cut into the pocket window. So let me cut this. Now I only cut up to so far, and I will use the X-Acto knife to finish this off. I'll take this knife here and put a square blade on it. This will allow me to cut across this line. This allows me to cut across without going past my window. This is my zipper window. My zipper will go inside of this, but I would have to cut out my lining for my window. So that's how the zipper was set inside. So the next thing we'll do is that we will cut out the lining for the pocket, and then we will install the lining in the zipper. Okay, now that we have the zipper window cut out, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to cut out the lining for the pocket. Now the pocket itself is going to be 8 inches. You have two pieces. One of them is going to be 8.5 inches by 7 inches, and the other one is going to be 8.5 inches by 5 inches. Now there's many ways to do a pocket. I'm just showing you the way that I do the pockets. People have their own way of doing them, but this is just my way. Now the reason why we have two different sizes is because the smaller size will go at the bottom, the larger side will go at the top, which will flip over and allow both pockets to be the same size. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trace out a pocket. So we'll trace out the smaller one first. And like I say, there are many ways of doing pockets. So you may have your own way of doing pockets, but I'm just showing you the way that I do mine. That's the bottom half of the pocket. This is the top half. Okay, this is going to be the bottom half of the pocket, and this would be the top half of the pocket. It will flip down like this. Now, the pocket will attach to the zipper. So I had to do something to help me remember. So this is what I did, is that I went in, I took a piece of fabric, put it, attached it to the zipper, so I know that when I sew this pocket down to this zipper, it needs to be sewed down this way, so when you look inside the pocket, you will see a finished pocket. Same here. When you look inside, you'll see a finished pocket. So for me, I need, no matter how many times I do a pocket, I still need something to give me some type of guideline. So this is my guideline. So what we're going to do, we're going to stitch the bottom half Well, first of all, I need to make sure that I have my pocket where it needs to be. So this needs to be about right here. I'm just going to sew on this way, face down. So I will take me a couple of pins, pin this on, just to keep it from moving on me. Then on this side, I need for it to pin face down also. So it would pin like this, which is face down. Just pinning it just so I make sure when I go to the sewing machine everything is lined up and facing in the direction that I need for it to face. Okay, that is correct. Now I can actually unzip this when I get ready to sew it. So now I'll take this to the sewing machine and I will sew the pocket to the zipper. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to sew the pocket to the zipper, and I am sewing this as close to the edge of the zipper that I possibly can, so in that way when I attach it, zip it to the zipper window, the stitches do not show. I could have used a regular sewing machine to do this, but everyone may not have a regular sewing machine. You may just have the industrial sewing machine. So just to show you that you can do this with your industrial sewing machine. Now I'll sew the other side. Okay, now that we have this sewn, now what we can do is attach the zipper inside the zipper pocket. Okay, now that we have the pocket sewn to the zipper, we can now install the zipper into the zipper window. So when this sets in here like this, turn this around, and it sets in like this, and when you unzip it, you see a finished pocket. So one thing that we can do is that we can iron this to where it lays flat. So when we put it in there, it's a nice clean look. So I'm going to take a minute and go and iron this so it lays flat, and then we will install the zipper into the zipper pocket. Okay, what I did was I went and I ironed the pocket so it lay down flat. And now what we'll do, we will attach the pocket to the window. I'm going to use just a little contact cement glue to glue the zipper down. I'm not using a lot, it's just enough to glue it down until I can sew it. Just like using pins for fabric. It's not there to hold it permanent, only long enough for me to sew it. So I'll just take the I'm going to stitch this I'm gonna let this set for a minute and then I will stitch it. Now something else that you can do, that you can put you a piece of leather, this is about a 1/2 inch wide, and you can fold it and you can put it between the zipper and your the bag, and you can also put you like a cover over that zipper. You know, I just may do that. I think I will. I think I'll cut out a piece the length of the zipper. Well, no, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to do it. But anyway, you could cut that out into where you could put it in between your zipper and your bag, and that will cover your zipper if you wanted to. Just another element that you could add to your bag. But we're going to sew the zipper in. So we'll let this dry for a couple of minutes and then we'll sew the zipper.